just returned from up north near Bohol. It was the hardest hit area by Typhoon Udet. Absolute answer to prayer and miracle, we made it back. I thought sure we were going to be stuck on the side of the road with a completely blown engine. Within 5 minutes of starting the engine, temperature skyrocketed, and it would run on 3 cylinders at low RPM and blew smoke out the tailpipe, no power. Before it gets worse, I'm going to try this stuff out. And the first step is to drain the system of all coolant and flush it very well. So apparently this product does not act well with any coolant products. Fortunately, I've been running on basically swimming pool water for weeks now, I don't know how long, just to be sure, because I really need this to work. I'm going to open the block drain valve, which is there by the oil, the spin-off oil filter down there. While that's open, I will pour fresh water through here, so it's constantly flushing the system out through the drain plug there. Maybe 2 of those, I think that's 6.5 liters there. But if you don't find your block valve wherever it is on whatever vehicle you're doing this on, and drain from there, you're still going to be holding some coolant in the system. So you really have to go from the radiator and then out through the block drain valve. And then continue with the instructions as follows. Okay, so I've opened up the block drain plug, and that is, you can see the steam coming off because it's just water. So, water from the swimming pool. So I'm going to open up the radiator cap and then flush fresh swimming pool water through the radiator. Be sure you do your flushing procedure with your heater on maximum heat and fan on max as well. You want to get your antifreeze out of the heater core also. Okay, now I'm going to reinstall the block drain plug. Then I'm going to remove this upper radiator hose and continue to do the same thing, flushing fresh water through the radiator. It'll go through the bottom hose, through the engine, and then dump out of here again onto the ground because, once again, it's just swimming pool water. So after our swimming pool water, we're going to use water recovered from our rainwater collection system. And I'm going to run 16 liters through, about 16 liters through there until it looks completely clear. And then I will continue with the procedures as described on the bottle. Okay, so again, remove the upper radiator hose. Just pull that off. Now we have to wait for the thermostat to open. Once again, I've got my heat on max just to be sure that we get everything out. And our temperature is at 65. I think the thermostat is 79. We should see water coming out of the radiator, and that's coming up pretty fast there. Okay. So let's go check the front. Okay, it's pretty clear that that's just water coming out now. So now we're just going to shut it off and let her cool down again. I just want to pressurize the system so that the water runs back through the heater core again. Alright, let's check the next step. We shake this bottle very well. And here we have a mixing chart. So it says for 2 gallons to 5 gallon system, cooling system, to use a whole bottle. And this Pajero 4M40 engine cooling system holds 1.8. So we're going to fall into this category over here, half bottle, which is great because we can do it 2 times, which I've seen on YouTube many people end up doing. About half the time the first shot doesn't work, and then the second time it does. Or that's also, sometimes the first heat cycle doesn't do the job and the second heat cycle does. So there's a few different scenarios on how this can play out as far as a solution. Shake well. I promise this is not a meth lab. Heat however many quarts you need for your cooling system. For me it's 3 quarts, which is 3.3 liters. And then to mix in a bucket, but I cannot imagine successfully transferring from a bucket into the radiator. So I'm going to do half a bottle here inside this container with 3.3 liters of warmed water and mix in here because this will be much easier to get into the radiator. And I'm going to use mineral water because I want to make sure this is done as cleanly as possible. And 1/3. So in many of these types of products you can actually see the fibers, and that can often lead to a blocked up cooling port in your head or engine. So I don't know the consistency of this one yet. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah. Well, it looks pretty cool, I guess. I'm going to be pretty careful on half a bottle because I probably will add the second half later. And maybe a splash more. That should be right about a half there. So the bottle doesn't say exactly what warm means. Okay, that's actually closer to hot, so that's going to be good, I guess. It says mix. That looks pretty cool. So hopefully it's not hot enough to crystallize here. I don't think so. I think it takes pretty high temperature. Let's head out to the car. Now make sure your upper and lower hoses and your lower valve and your drain plug are all put back in place. And then we're going to continue by installing this into the radiator. And then it says to top off with water, and we've got clean rainwater there, so that should work. Now just to make sure I get all of my product out of here, I'm going to refill this with the rainwater, rinse it around again, and dump that in. It says to top off the radiator now. Making sure we get every bit of our engine saving product out of here until we're topped off, which is coming up pretty close here. Looks like right about there. Let's see if there's any air in the... Nope, seems full. Okay, there we go. Alright, now according to instructions, reinstall radiator cap. Alright, now it says to run the engine for 10 minutes or until thermostat opens, so that's probably going to be 10 minutes. I'll probably do it. And we're just going to sit here for 10 minutes. Okay, now we're on step 6. Allow engine to cool enough time so that it's safe to open cap. Okay, we did that. Number 7, top off cooling system with water. Alright. I want to make sure I've got as much water in here as possible for the next restart. So I think we're full, so I'm going to start it up again. And this time, I'm going to run for 15 minutes. Another side note, I recommend having lots of water standing by. On the last run, it started to get a bit warm, so I ran some water over the radiator to just kind of keep the temperature managed. So that's probably not a bad idea. Okay, once again, we're at 65, it looks like. Heat on. Clarification on that last step, it's not run a second time for 15 minutes. It's the second time, once you reach normal operating temperature, then run for 15 minutes. So normal operating temperature, according to the factory manual, is 90, although when this was behaving properly, it was always at 85. It's looking hopeful. We've been now idling for 10 minutes. It's stuck there on 80, I guess that's 84. Each notch is 2. So I did go up 1 notch and it's been there for 10 minutes. So it seems like the product is doing something. I don't want to say it's a total success yet, but it never would have idled like that before. So now I'm going to add clean water to the overflow tank, because if this is working now, then as it cools, the radiator will pull water out of here. So that'll kind of help reduce how much we have to refill at the cap later. Plus that'll be a little bit of a test anyway. So I'm just going to put some fresh water in here. Okay, I've let it run just a little bit longer, probably 17, 18 minutes, and hasn't budged off 84. So I'm going to shut it off now, and then it says to wait 45 minutes. So that's pretty specific, so I will wait 45 minutes. So as per instructions, it's been cooling for over 45 minutes now. We're only slightly low there. We've got some of the product floating there. So the instructions say to run now for 20 minutes at a high idle, 1200 RPM. So that's not going to be a problem. Just top it off here with water. And so this time it took very little compared to the first refill. And we're ready to go again. So again, the 20-minute run time starts after you've reached normal operating temperature, which seems to be 84. So now we're at 60. So once it hits 84 again, then we will go for another 20 minutes. Then turn the engine off and let it cool for an hour. Actually, it's not budging off 82 now, so I'm going to call that running temp and start my 20-minute countdown. Well, I felt confident enough to walk away, so it's been 20 minutes running. Let's check the temperature. Yeah, still at 82. Or maybe that's 84. Anyway, I don't know if the problem is solved, but that's an improvement. Big improvement. Now we just have to shut it off and let her cool down for over an hour. I say, but the bottle says an hour, but here in the Philippines it's warmer than most places people probably use this, so I think I'll give it just a little bit longer than an hour. After following all the procedures, I took it out and it was doing really well, and I hit half a bar of boost and it all went south and started running on 3 cylinders again at low RPM, just as before. So I just took my handy dandy bottle here and I dumped in probably another quarter directly into the radiator, added a little more water, some mineral water down there, let it run for 15 minutes, turned it off, let it sit for about an hour or so, back on again, still holding at 82 like before. So I'm holding this time, it actually sticks. Vincent? Huh? What is that? What is it? Huh? You have some humyum? So you like fish, I guess. That's a fish head. Oh, you don't want that now? Huh? Yum. This is your num num. That's a piranha. The piranha is your num num. Oh my. So since having done that, it has been running. It's been staying at 84 again. And it's been running normally on all 4 cylinders. So I don't know. Just gonna keep trying it. So we're gonna go stop somewhere for a bit and then when I come out, I'm going to try to finish this off. And then if there's still more space, I'll add some more water, drive some more, turn it off, and just keep going like that. Hoping to fix it, because I ain't got the cash to fix it properly. Okay, so yesterday we drove around, and for the first few minutes it was actually, everything was normal. Temperature normal, power normal, low RPM normal. But after hitting half a bar of boost, it's like something popped and it was back to the same, where it was running on 3 cylinders at low RPMs. So now's what I did, is I simply added another quarter of this to the warm radiator. Went through the cycle process again, 15 minutes first, then 20 minutes, shut down, then 1 hour, and then shut down. So far it's been acting better. I've just added another, almost a quarter. It's basically finished, and we're going to drive another 15 minutes at operating temperature, 84 degrees. And this guy is ready to navigate once again. So here we go. So today I've been driving for about an hour since pouring another quarter of that bar's stop leak in the radiator. But it stayed at 84, 85. I just did 1.5 bar boost. And holds well. Temperature stays the same. And we are now idling at low RPMs normally. Alright, so this is about the third day of running the engine with the bars leaks product in the cooling system. It's holding pressure perfectly well. Yeah, hasn't gone down at all. Yeah, and it did pull from the overflow tank. So it is creating pullback pressure now. So that's excellent news. So for now, I'm just going to keep driving it with the bars product in the cooling system. And hopefully after several, I've seen on many YouTube videos that several people experience similar results, where they have to actually run several heat cycles before it actually really works. I think don't expect it to work the first time. After following all these steps the first time, then maybe add more and then go through the steps again, and then add more and go through the steps again, which is what I've done. And so far it seems to be working. My temperature all day was at 84. Yeah, so seems like a success. I'll keep updating, but it looks good for now. So as this seems like a success, and the radiator is still full. Yeah, the radiator is still completely full, and the overflow tank is empty. So that's good. I'm just going to, I've got about a quarter, well maybe not even that. I've got about this much of a 50-50 mixture of product and water. I'm just going to dump that in the overflow tank and let that work itself back through the process. And that's it. I'll definitely be buying a second one of these to keep in the car for any type of emergency need. No, I'm more than happy. Considering the cost of this and that it is currently working, consider the price to be a great deal. So, highly recommended. So, if this video was at all interesting or helpful, please share, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. Every bit helps a lot. Thanks, y'all. Take care.